Just let everyone in the chamber know that we're just about to go live with our streaming and our recording.
My neighbours are good with it. They know it'll get done eventually.
Okay. Oh, where's the starting book? Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Ordinary Council meeting being held at Bayindi on the 22nd of October at 7 o'clock. I'd like to begin with an acknowledgement of the Kaurna people as the traditional custodians of the land. The City of Prospect acknowledges that we are on the traditional country of the Kaurna people and the Adelaide Plains region, and we pay our respect to elders past, present and emerging. We recognise and respect their cultural heritage, beliefs and relationships with the land, and we acknowledge that they are of continuing importance to the Kaurna people living today. And now the Council Pledge. We seek wisdom and understanding as we face the duties of our united task, praying for the peace and prosperity of our city. Thank you. Okay, item number 2 on the agenda, on leave there are nil. Item 3, apologies, is an apology from Councillor Lillian Hollett. Item 4 on the agenda, declaration by members of a conflict of interest. Are there any conflicts of interest that anyone would like to declare? I'll start with Councillor Backer.
Yeah, with 10.2 community grants, as a member of the Prospect Local History Group, I won't be participating in debate.
But you'll be staying?
I won't be.
Oh, you'll be leaving? Yeah, okay.
Yes, on the same item 10.2 community grants, I would declare a general interest because I'm a committee member but I'm not an office holder of Prospect Local History Group and Prospect Local Environment Group, so I will stay, speak and vote if necessary.
Thank you. Any other? Sorry, Councillor Burnett. Councillor Grote.
Yes. 10.4, that first budget review due to the amended recommendation in relation to AEDs. I'm going to declare a material conflict of interest. And
if that's all we've got, we'll move on to item 5 of the agenda, which is confirmation of minutes for the meeting held on the 24th of September. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Barnett, would you like to speak to the motion?
No, thanks.
Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Trindwin, would you like to speak to the motion? Any further discussion? I don't see any need to sum up, so let's put that to the vote. All those in favour? Against? Carried unanimously. Item 6 on the agenda, public question time. So with public question time, we have up to 15 minutes available. We can take 5 questions, so there's 3 minutes each. Are there any questions from members of the public? I would like to come forward to the table and let us know your name and address for the purposes of the minutes, please.
Peter Wed. Peter Wed.
Yep. Thank you. And your question is?
Why is the library closed on Sundays?
So why isn't the library open on Sundays?
It's closed. It's closed.
Closed on Sundays, yeah. Okay.
Right.
I might direct that one to the CEO.
Well, through you, Mr Mayor, the library's closed on Sundays, I believe, because Council's made the decision that we're not resourced appropriately to open the library on a Sunday. So, like any council service, Council needs to balance the cost against the quality of service and the amount of service we deliver. My understanding is that the library certainly has never been open on a Sunday since I've been the Chief Executive. I'm not sure in the past whether it ever was. It may have been. Some councils do open their libraries on a Sunday. We don't, and that's a service level issue for council, cost versus.
The kids are going away to learn, and another project here and learn. Yeah, we never learn about anything. We learn. And then it's close. It's gonna do that. It's wrong.
Mr. Mayor, through you, I think it's fair to say, Mr. Wedd, that there's obviously value if council were to open the library on a Sunday to the community. I think the community would find that to be a positive thing, but I think equally the community would have to pay for that. privilege.
Okay.
And I think, Mr. Wedd, like any service level, it would be probably a question if you were interested in advocating for increasing that service level to engage with probably a ward councillor would be the first person I'd have a chat to about whether or not that's something that we could bring forward as a motion or consider in the next budget.
I had also now, I'm never them, and I'm going to start work. You know, the 12 days, close on Sundays. I can do it, boy.
Yeah. Again, Mr. Wedd, through you, Mr. Mayor, I think it does again come back to that simple question of cost per. Yeah, in essence, and because again, it's staff overtime and cost. It's obviously the cost of keeping the library open on a Sunday. No one's saying it's not a good idea. No one's saying that it wouldn't be good for the community. The question really is about the cost, and I think that's a budget issue that I would encourage you to take up with your ward council.
We'll pass back to you. Bye-bye.
Mr. Wedd, it's hard to debate with you, obviously, on the issue because it simply, the question does come down to, in the end, and obviously council has a wide range of services that if we improve the quality of how often we mow our parks or sweep our streets, all of these are issues that members, when they're budgeting, need to balance the cost versus how often we deliver that service. And I think there'd be a lot of services that would benefit from an increase in quality and service level. The library is one of them, and I think come budget time, that would be a debate that I would suggest you ask your ward councillor to take up on your behalf.
Just to jump in, and maybe either Councillor Groot or Barnett might help out, or even Councillor Backer. When we were making the decision as to the opening hours of this facility, we would have done some analysis on the utilisation of the library at its existing location, and I feel that we would have made the decision to open it at certain times of the day and not other days, and open it at 10 as opposed to 9, and so on and so forth, based on monitoring how many people use the library at that time, and the information that would have come our way would have been, I would feel confident in saying that Sunday was seen as quite an underutilised day. Now that was when the library was up there. Maybe now that it's here, it could be a different situation.
So Councillor Christina Barnett, hello Peter, thank you for coming. It's my memory that when we were over in the Thomas Street Centre, it was open on certain hours during, I think, mainly afternoon, but it wasn't open on Mondays, right? And then when we moved to the new building, there was some further, analysis done, with surveying library users. And so it was found that over here, Sunday was the least used time, and then further to that, we had more surveys done of users, like public consultation, and it was to actually open close it on Sundays, have it open 6 days a week, and have it open at evenings until, I think, first of all, we did it till 9 o'clock, was it? And now I think it's 8 o'clock. And that was quite, we were, I believe, the first library in Australia to actually open at evening. So you can see, that there's been changes in how people use the library. But it may well be that for the next budget, there may be another survey done to see, what happens.
Thank you. Are there any further questions from members of the public before we move on? If not, we'll move on to item 7 on the agenda, petitions, Sarah Neal. Item 8 on the agenda, deputations, Sarah Neal. Item 9 on the agenda, questions without notice. Are there any questions without notice? Councillor De Backer.
Welcome back, Mayor.
Good to be back.
Just a couple, say Alison De Backer, Central Ward Councillor. Some residents in my ward have asked about a motion that council passed back in August regarding abandoned vehicles. I think the motion was unanimously supported to send some correspondence out. I was just about the status of the abandoned vehicles. I just wondered what the status of that is.
The status of the correspondence?
Yes.
Yep, CEO.
Ms McCluskey, would you be kind enough to take that one for me?
Certainly. Through the chair, drafting is underway for that correspondence, but it has not been sent.
I'm just wondering, is there a reason for the delay, or is it something we have to put on the motions?
Ms McCluskey?
Through the chair, of staff that would be involved in preparing that consultation, 3 of those team members have been away this month, including the director, which is why I'm sitting here. So it is a staff resourcing shortfall in the previous period that has led to the delay.
Just another one to follow up for local residents. Regarding pedestrian access to Prospect Road with the 2 significant developments along Prospect Road, I understand that pedestrian access has actually been blocked off in a couple of areas. Is that due to be remedied or access restored in the near future?
Do you mean the gantries that have been put up?
Yeah, so at the moment you can't access the pedestrian crossing from the south side,
Yep.
and people are forced to use island. So obviously, yeah, it's not ideal. I'm just wondering if that's going to be open soon.
So the question is there a timeline by which
Yes.
the gantry will be taken down? CEO, do we...
Ms McCluskey, do you have any intelligence on that matter?
Through the chair, we will have time frames around both of those projects. I know one of them off the top of my head, but not that one, I'm afraid, so I might have to take that one on notice.
And just finally, with the solutions about access on footpaths, is that consulted with the our own Access and Inclusion Community Reference Group?
CEO.
Ms McCluskey, I don't believe the answer to that is yes. Can you correct me on that if I'm wrong?
Through the chair, at perhaps a policy setting level, so things like the guidance documents around footpath trading or things of that nature, at strategic level, yes, we would consult with that group, but in terms of each individual project, they're consulted with residents and nearby businesses, but not the specific. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr McCluskey. Any further questions without notice from anybody? Councillor Nelson.
One from me, if I can. I was just talking to a local resident yesterday and they asked me, what is the definition of the heritage precinct? They're currently a resident from Albert Street, and I just noticed they've got that wording on the bottom of their street name. But there's currently 2 properties for sale there that are being marketed as development opportunities. So they're just wondering what the definition of heritage precinct is for those streets with that signage.
CEO.
We're going to have a crack, but I'm going to ask Ms McCluskey to take this one for us again.
Certainly. Through the chair, the term selected was intentionally vague. Currently, the signage reflects streets or portions of streets that are subject to the historic area overlay, so it may be that part or the entirety of that street has demolition protection. But the selection of the term allowed and discussion through the Chamber at the time was to allow Council to potentially apply that nomenclature to a character street that may not have heritage protection, but there was still a desired wayfinding that went into that street.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions without notice? Okay, let's move on to reports for decision. Item 10.1, 2023-2024 annual report. On page 4 of the agenda, there are some recommendations there. We've got some X's here. Okay, attachment 1. Do I have a mover for this motion? Councillor Nelson.
Happy to move. It's a great publication, as always. The communication team's done a magnificent job putting this together. I found it very interesting to look back at our achievements the last 12 months. Well, that was 12 months, 6 months ago, but I think we should all be very proud of what we've achieved as a council for that 23-24 period. Aside from a few spelling errors, I think, which we picked up in the final edit, it's a very, very good document, very succinct document, and can't wait for it to be released to the public.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Mark Group.
Look, I'm happy to second it, support the movers' comments on it. Good to see least 56 photos of the Mayor in the annual report, as is our tradition, so that's great to see. But it is...
Who's counting?
Sorry?
Who's counting?
But it is good to see a reflection of the activity that we've made, and I think I've seen a number of these over the years, and I think it's just fantastic to reflect what we've done, because there's been huge achievements, and there will be in the next 2 years and probably the next 20 years as well. But it's a moment in time snapshot of what we've been doing. So thank you to the staff that put it together. This is a lot of work that goes into this. There's no doubt about how much work goes into a report such as this, and to have a graphic design as well. I know the financials will come in after we approve them in the November meeting, so they're still to be added to the report. But in terms of the content, absolutely supported.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councillor Twenwin.
Well done to the team. I love the graphics, the use of numbers, pictures. It captures diversity, young, old, different people, different background. I love how simple it is, yet the information is so anyone can pick up and read it. So well done, team.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councillor De Backer.
Yeah, some great stories in there, and I know one of them is on traffic and parking. I had some suggested amendments for that section. I don't know if they were brought up or no.
So that's a question directed at myself.
Oh, through the chair.
The motion that's before you adopts the report with the capacity for myself or my delegates to make minor administrative changes that don't affect essentially the content of the report. Having not seen your suggested changes, Councillor, I can't comment as to whether or not they meet that threshold or not. If you feel that they exceed the threshold of minor administrative changes, you may wish to move an amendment.
Probably not, but
Alternatively, if they are sensible minor administrative changes, we will certainly give them a close look, as we have for one or two other members who've presented similar suggested changes.
yeah, so just basically it was around traffic and parking. I attended the drop-in session last night. It was really well attended. We had about 15 residents, and it's a really hot topic of ours. I know we address traffic and parking as the wording in that part of the annual report, but part of the ITP is actually looking at active transport, public transport, including cycling and walking as well. And I think certainly it was acknowledged that footpaths and lighting was part of that. So I think that's a really great thing that was outlined in our strategic document. Yeah.
Any further discussion? Briefly from the chair, I do hope that the community reads this, because there's lots of good data in there. That was one of the most, apart from being a very well designed document, there was heaps of interesting data in there, things that we get asked questions about all the time, a lot of answers in there. So I'm sure that the elected members will promulgate this through their networks, and it'll be great to see as many people read this as possible. Moving back to Councillor Nelson to sum up.
I think enoug's been said.
Thank you. Let's put that to the vote. All those in favour? Against? Carried unanimously. Item 10.2, Annual Community Grants, Community Support Fund 2024-2025 recommendations on page 35 on your agenda. I'll just give Councillor De Backer a minute to Okay, recommendations on page 35. Do I have a mover? Deputy Mayor Mark Creek would like to speak to the motion.
I really like this this coming to us each year, because it's the one little touch point we have out into the community, particularly the small community groups, that for a lot of them $2,000 or $3,000 actually makes a huge difference in terms of what they do in the community. I thought that the process to land with the top 16 was really sound. I think that if I was to assess them in my own mind, that's probably where I would have gone as well. So thank you to those who spent time doing that. It's a shame to see some organisations who don't quite get the reporting up to scratch for previous years, but that'll be sorted out, and I think the conditional approval makes sense. And I think for those not recommended for funding, that is all sensible as well. And it might be worth either clarifying with schools that they're not eligible, because I know every year we have at least one of our schools applies, and so the message isn't quite getting through that they're not eligible, notwithstanding the project they had assessed or had submitted as a good one, but they're just not eligible for this particular fund. So look, I'm really supportive of it. Thank you again to staff who have spent the time going through this. And I just don't think we should underestimate the difference that, to Clegg $550 or to the Greek Orthodox Church $3,000, they make a big difference in these communities. So I support the motion.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Nelson.
Yeah, look, very similar to the Deputy Mayor. I always find these reports very interesting and love reading them every single year. Enlightening to see what the community groups are up to and what they're doing, how much they're obviously supporting the other movement of the community. And again, similar to Councillor Green, very happy with the way the consideration the committee made to each and every applicant. So very happy to support the recommendation.
Any further discussion? Well, I've got a quick question. I'll put it to the CEO. Do the groups who aren't successful get? I'm assuming they would get some feedback on why their application wasn't successful. Would that be correct?
Ms. Taylor, Ms. Ferroni, I'd like to take that. Ms. Ferroni?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, thank you for the question. They receive a little bit of feedback in the written correspondence that they received, generally just pointing them into the main reason as to why they were unsuccessful, but they're certainly welcome to contact us for more feedback if they'd like, and we're more than happy to give them a detailed rundown of why the panel considered it in the way that they did, and we've certainly had groups that have taken the opportunity up in the past and received lengthier feedback from us.
Right, that's what I assume would be the case. Cool. All right. If there's no further discussion, I'll head back to Deputy Mayor Mark Groot to sum up.
Thank you.
Let's put that to the vote. All those in favour? Against? Carried unanimously. Would someone like to give a councillor? I think she might have gone downstairs.
Ice cream.
She's chucking it to him. Just say crepe for a minute.
Don't say that.
Don't say that.
Can't say that.
Find a button.
Find your phone, find your member.
Yeah, she went downstairs. Yeah, she's coming. We'll give Councillor Backer a minute to rejoin. Okay, moving on to item 10.3, quarterly projects update. Recommendations on page 49. Do I have a mover? Councillor Nelson.
Yes, very happy. I think it's great news about the successful grants we've had. Obviously, funding of Stage 1B for the Churchill Road Drainage Project is finally there. Also, the Galway Avenue rehabilitation there. So I think a lot of work being done in those major projects. I just seem to think that every time we get this report, the list gets longer and longer and longer. And obviously, our annual review, our annual the magazine for next year is just going to be bigger and bigger. We've had great success in the grants. Recently, my hat goes off to the whole executive team for preparing those. I know how hard it is to prepare those grant applications and the amount of work that goes into them. So well done to the execs to get them submitted and to get them funded. And of course, thank you to the project team for the update. Look forward to more project completions over the coming months. So well done.
Thank you, Councillor Nelson. Do I have a seconder? Deputy Mayor Mark Groot, would you like to speak to the motion?
Nothing else really to add except to say it's fantastic to see our new, what's it called, our rotunda coming along very nicely. It's fantastic. It's on budget, it's on time, and will be ready for December. So it's something that we've talked about a lot in this chamber for the last 3 or 4 years. So good to see it finally coming to completion, and look forward to the grand opening, whatever that's going to look like.
Is there a budget for that? Is there? Or?
Well, budget for every other opening, so why not the rotunda?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Mark Groot. Any further discussion? Any points that haven't been raised? If not, briefly from the Chair, it's good to see us going after grants in a targeted way. I think going back a number of years, any opportunities that came our way, we jumped at it, regardless of whether they were aligned with our strategic priorities. But I think that the grants that we've received and we've gone after recently are well aligned with priorities that we've set. So that's really good to see. Heading back to Councillor Nelson to sum up.
Done.
Thank you, Councillor Nelson. Let's put that to the vote. All those in favour? Against? Carried unanimously. Okay, item 10.4, first budget review 2024-2025. Recommendation on page 78. However, I will draw your attention to this screen. There's an alternate recommendation which we're going to run with which I'll give you a minute to read. The new information obviously is in red. Mid-afternoon. Oh, sent out last night. Okay, if everyone's had a chance to read that, I'll now call for a mover to this motion. So we're moving what's on the screen, not what was necessarily published. I'll go with Councillor Barnett.
Yes, I think this is a very important public safety initiative, and I'm grateful for the government grants that can allow councils such as ours to be able to make applications. I hope we're successful for all of them. I did note a few years ago with the Prospect RSL committee that it briefly researched just around the area around the Prospect Oval, the Memorial Gardens, and there, I think there are still none. But there are some, I believe, internally, like the Prospect RSL committee funded its own internal one, given a lot of the its clientele are, you know, over sort of 50, I guess, in the bracket where this might be useful. Yeah, so I fully commend this to Council.
Thank you, Councillor Barnett. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Nelson.
Yeah, look, I think it's always, you know, we talk about these things a lot. It's always very frustrating to see the carry forwards. But as we know, no one likes to see them, but they're unfortunately required the way the market is at the moment. I think taking the opportunity to apply for the 10K grant for the AEDs and to fund the remainder to increase their service is a solid plan. I'm happy that although some of our key metrics are going to be out of the target range for a short period of time, that based on the timing, I'm confident they'll come back in line with the budget in due course.
Thank you, Councillor Nelson. Any further questions, discussions? Councillor Backer.
I just have a question, because we'd had a look at the capital projects. I've just got a question around the modular audio-visual equipment for TK. Is there funding in addition to what we've already spent last year, or is this the same amount carried forward?
CEO.
Mr. Di Maria, are you able to answer that? Thanks for the question. Through the chair, we had a budget of 100,000. So far, we've spent only around 50 on the technology within this particular room, and we're looking to, through the retiming, to look at other public spaces and how we can improve the audio-visual in those rooms. For instance, Irish Harp.
Okay. Is the audio-visual been complete for this room? Is this now?
I might take that one. It's got some bugs that we're attempting to work through, but there is, as I understand it, a period with which we are able to work with the contractor to try and correct those as part of the contract. So we're not at the end of the project, but we're getting there.
Just to add through the chair, yes, we are working with the contractor. We have troubleshooting exercises with the contractor. He came in yesterday to troubleshoot a range of issues. So not yet complete, but hopefully pretty soon.
Thank you.
Councillor Twinwin.
Yeah, just in regards to the defibrillators, do we know where we're going to place them in terms of the 10 new ones that if we were to install? Do we have the location? Will it be scattered around the different wards, areas where there's high frequency? Have we got a rough idea where it might be placed?
I think the locations were itemised. I think they were itemised in the report from.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I'm not sure that was the case because this was a late addition, and it's a response to the legislative changes that are expanding our need to provide these, and this is obviously an opportunity for us to leverage the public funding to support that. Mr. Delena, can you provide some more details to where we expect these defibrillators to be installed?
Through the chair. So members, last night I just sent out an email to say, sorry, apologies for the late notice, but the grant funding sort of the way it's facilitating come up, sort of we didn't have the opportunity to bring it to another council meeting. We had to sort of push it through. these for the members to have their consideration tonight. And the email lists the sites. So the sites that we've nominated are the only ones that are eligible for under this grant funding program. We have other sites, but that are required by legislation by the 1st of January 2026 to have a defibrillator in place. So the sites are 10 sites are Broadview Bowling Club, Broadview Tennis Club, Prospect Tank Club, Blair Athol Tennis Club, Prospect Tennis Club, the Prospect Community Garden, North Adelaide Croquet Club, Prospect District Cricket Club, the Model Railway, and Prospect RSL.
Noting that we have to do this, and so the opportunity to have the state government fund part of that now seems to make sense to us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Quick question.
Yep.
I know in the last Audit and Finance Committee recommendations that were budget reviews are supposed to go to the Audit Committee. Has this one gone to the Audit Committee?
So yeah.
Through the Mayor, no, but it will. So BR1, routinely, this happened last year, goes to the Audit Committee after it's been considered by Council. So that still complies with the process. But yes, ideally we would put it to the Audit Committee first. It hasn't gone to the Audit Committee, but it will.
I've got a quick question from the Chair. This is a good news story for the locations. Do we plan to market the fact that we're spending money on this to the broader community and to the group specifically so that people know that those devices are at all of those locations?
Mr. Mayor, I'll take that as a suggestion rather than a question, because I think, of course, we're always looking for good news stories to market to our community, and at the appropriate time, we'd probably do something to cover off on a broader range of AED installations, including, for example, the one we've recently placed in the High Street Plaza. So yes, we will use it at the appropriate time. It might not be immediately.
Yep.
And obviously, this installation won't happen tomorrow.
Sure.
So.
Yep. No worries. Okay, so we have a mover and we have a second. We've had discussion. If there's no further discussion, I'll head back to Councillor Barnett
No more.
to sum up. Okay, let's put that to the vote. All those in favour, against, carried unanimously. I'll just wait for Deputy Mayor Mark Groot to be fetched. Okay, item 10.5, December Ordinary Council Meeting Change of Date, recommendations on page 97. This is something that we, I think we've done this in the past before, including changing the sign, so that's fine. Do I have a mover to this one? Deputy Mayor Mark Groot, would you like to speak to the motion?
Oh, not really.
Okay. Do I have a seconder? Do I see Councillor Stannard's hand up? Over to you, Councillor. You were scratching your head, but I took that as a positive sign.
I was going to second it.
No problem. Okay, I don't think there's any need for any further discussion there, so, except for
Always,
Councillor. Okay.
yes. Not always, actually. Yeah, I just wanted to check in regards to the workshop agenda. When are we discussing PLP in public or in master planning? Because I don't have the one.
I believe it's the 19th. Mr. Delaney, can you confirm?
Apologies, I missed the question.
When are we? No, sorry. It's probably a better question for Mr. McCluskey. I'm sorry.
I, through the chair, can confirm 19th.
Sorry.
Just checking if it was before or after. That's okay.
Okay, unless Deputy Mayor Mark Groot sees a pressing need to sum up, I'll put that.
Just like to support Councillor Stanton's in.
That's very kind of you. Let's put that to the vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item 11, general business of an urgent nature. Are there any urgent items that anyone would like to try on? Doesn't look like it. Let's move on to item 12. Reports for information. There's only the mayoral monthly report, a bit meagre this month because I haven't been here. But happy to take any questions on anything that was listed there, if anyone's got any questions. Otherwise, I'll ask for someone to move that motion.
So moved.
Any discussion from you, Deputy Mayor Margaret? Could I have a second for that motion, please? Councillor Stanton. 2 in a row. And for a hat-trick. Seconding. Do you have anything to add, Councillor Stanton?
No, I thought it was quite concise.
Thank you. Any further discussion, questions? If not, I'll move back to the Deputy Mayor to sum up.
I think Councillor Stanton's quite insightful. It is concise. So we'll see.
Sure, concise. Okay, thank you. Let's put that to the vote. All those in favour? Against? Item 13, Council Member reports and briefings. We have received reports from Councillor Nelson, Councillor Barnett and Councillor DeBacker. Thank you for all your hard work. Item 14, and for the hard work of the other members who didn't submit a report, I must add. Item 14, motions on notice, there are nil. Item 15, questions with notice, we have one regarding draft Future Living Code amendment from Councillor DeBacker. The questions have been circulated. I confirm the answers have been circulated as well, or they're up on the screen now? Is this the first time that people have... will I give people an opportunity just to read through them? Yeah, let's do that. We'll give you a couple of minutes to read through. Yeah, and the answers will be published in the minutes as well. So.
First one. Okay, are we all happy to have read through that? Thank you. And as I mentioned, and thanks for the questions, Councillor Backer. The answers or the responses will be included in the minutes. There are no further questions with that notice, so we'll move on to item 16. Confidential items, there are nil. That being the case, I will call the meeting closed at a record time of 7:38.
Going to leave more often, Mr. Mayor. Welcome back, by the way.